Welcome into AOL Sport's continued coverage of the 2016 NBA Finals. We were clearly ready to go. I'm Gavin Shaw, alongside J.M. Bass, Marcus Bearhall. This is actually the first time we're doing this. We started kind of late in the game, but better late than never. Now, right? We potentially have 2 games left, possibly only 1. We're going to get their thoughts on that. Obviously, the only way this series continues is if Cleveland can somehow pull off a win tonight. Josh, I'm going to start with you. What do you think are some of the keys?
Never start with me. I like to lower expectations. But I would definitely say Kyrie and LeBron have to keep playing well. If they can play at the level that they did in Game 5, obviously it's going to be harder with Draymond back. But if they can keep that level up, I don't see them losing. But obviously, Golden State with Draymond in, Bogut out, there's a lot more defensive versatility, and it's going to be harder for them to maintain that level back-to-back games.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I feel like on the defensive side, at least for the Warriors, losing Bogut is kind of counteracted a little bit by getting Draymond back. And I think that a guy who's going to need to step up for the Cavs is JR. I think he plays a lot better at home. And with Kevin Love not doing anything, I think he needs to kind of be that third guy.
That's the thing that I think a lot of people who have just kind of assumed Golden State was going to win tonight haven't totally taken into account. This is going to be a wild environment in Cleveland. This is, no matter what happens, the last game they're going to be seeing there. Suddenly it's somewhat feasible that they come back in this series. It's going to be a different environment. I agree with you that J.R. Smith is really key. I thought he was the guy who kind of got them into the game in Oakland with him attacking the basket, which is something I know you and me as Knicks fans, you've seen him from across the pond. There's something he hasn't really done a lot over the last couple of years. But I think it kind of comes back to, you said this, Josh, Kyrie Irving playing exceptionally well. Because even with Draymond out last game, and even with Steph not having an exceptional game, it took a truly historic performance. And I think we all agree that's what we saw last game.
Yeah, I think also, just going back to the JR thing, he has a job guarding Clay. He's obviously part of the committee in terms of doing that with Shump and whoever else is there. And he has to do a better job. Clay scored 26 points in the first half last game. That's not acceptable at all. And they got very lucky that performance didn't carry Golden State with momentum into the second half, and Cleveland was able to pull it out. But that's definitely not something they can bank on.
Yeah, that's a great point, because there were so many, even with how well Clay was doing, there were so many open threes that Golden State missed. I think Jeff Van Gundy said this today on Zach Lowe's podcast, you're inevitably going to give up some plays where they just hit 30-footers, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. But then when you start giving up the other stuff too, the wide open threes, the little backdoor cuts, they give you wide open
Spades nuggets or
Spades can't. If Spades scores over 10 points, it's like Golden State's guaranteed to win, because that's just not something you can't let the mediocre guys go off
that and like.
Well, how do you think Kerr's gonna have his rotation tonight? Do you think we're gonna see a lot of Festus and Spades, or just more like Draymond and Barnes playing a lot of minutes at center, with obviously Festus sprinkled in, but maybe more of a small lineup the entire time to combat Cleveland's speed?
I feel like they don't really trust Festus, and I feel like Varejav's gonna get like a sneakily a lot of minutes tonight, which I don't know if that'll be good.
He knows the Cleveland crowd very well.
He knows how to flop it.
I think maybe the crowd will see him like take a charge, and they'll get into it for a half second.
And I'll be like, no. I know, but I think there should be more trust in Festus, because when I've seen him, he just kind of stands out athletically as a big. Like Tristan Thompson's really good, but he's like 6'9", 6'10". Festus is like a freak relative to these guys. Bogut's the same size, but he just can't quite move the same way. I honestly think Festus is a weapon. Obviously, if you're Golden State, you're going to want to play the death lineup as much as possible. You're going to take the deficit rebounding. So far for the series, Cleveland actually, their number of second chance points would have led the league. So they're taking that, and Golden State's still excelling in this series, so they're willing to give that up, particularly with Draymond out. I think it's a good trade-off for them, but when he's out, I'd rather have Festus out there.
I think for me, Bogut obviously is very valuable in terms of his screening, his passing. Like he's so fundamentally sound defensively, and Festus is not that type of player. Like he's more athletic defensively, and he has the ability to switch out, but he's not that kind of player, especially on offense. He's more just a finisher as opposed to setting screens and initiating the offense from the high post. And I think Kerr just sees Festus and sees some of his limitations, and it's like, I want Bogut out there.
All right, now I want to look at the elephant in the room on the Cleveland side of things. Obviously, Kevin Love played, at least defensively, I actually thought he was pretty good, but offensively, he was just a non-factor last game. Cleveland still won, but with Draymond back, and just given how good Golden State is, I don't think that's sustainable for 2 games in a row. Do you think he needs to contribute, maybe not 25 points, but he has to contribute in some meaningful way for Cleveland to win tonight, right?
I feel like, I don't think they need like a 20-point game from him.
They're not going to get one, so they should bank on it.
Yes, it's kind of irrelevant.
But I mean, because the way that their team has kind of evolved, like with Jefferson and Fry, I don't think he needs to play as big of a role for them to win, but I do think he needs to play some role. Like 2 points is not going to get it done, especially if Draymond's there, because he's not going to have anyone to guard.
he necessarily needs touches. I think just like he needs to do what Channing Frye's been doing, and if he gets the ball in the corner and he's open for three in that short corner, he has to make it. And if he doesn't, he's not going to get minutes.
Yeah.
So he needs to do what's asked of him, and he shouldn't try to. He's not going to be posting up like that's. Yeah, it's not Minnesota anymore.
Well,
Like,
the
at
first
this point, they can't like try to just force feed him.
LeBron doesn't trust him at all, so it's not.
It's like a
it's not
do or
gonna
die
happen.
game.
Yeah, and
That's the kind of
It's gonna be LeBron and Kyrie.
I think what's so frustrating is even when they've given him those alpha dog opportunities in bench heavy units, he hasn't totally taken advantage. When he's had smaller Golden State guys switch on him, I know when we were watching, we talked about this so many times. He struggled to finish over them, and then even when he got into the lane, when he was doubled, this guy's historically known as being a really good passer, and he just hasn't been able to find ways out of those doubles.
I think he just has no confidence at this point.
No, I agree with you. I think that's the root of it.
I think a lot of that is also like when you have fewer opportunities, you feel that kind of pressure. Like, and if you're that close to the basket, you're thinking, I just need to put this in. I need 2 points. I need to like score because that's like what he's done his whole career.
Yeah.
That's what he's known for. And at a certain point, you kind of get tunnel vision that way if you're not getting the ball regularly.
Completely agree.
All right, I think that's a super point. Final predictions from you guys for today.
I'm gonna go Golden State, and I think it's not gonna be that close. I think they win by at least 10 points.
All right, Marcus.
I'm going to go the Cavs. I think LeBron takes over, and I think he rolls into a game 7.
All right, I think both your biases showing a little bit there, but I'm sure you genuinely believe it too. That's all we have for the pregame. We're actually going to come back at halftime, post another one of these videos, so stay tuned for that. For now, that's it from AOL Sports. Yeah, how about